These ferns are really good. You look across there, get yourself a little flat area in there, get the tent up, winner. Easy to hide in there, not a problem. However, I'm not tent camping tonight. It's just too warm. I'm back in the hammock. Motorhome, glamping pod, log cabin. We're not about that here. We do it proper. Thanks for joining me on this evening's Woodland camp. Yes, it's been overcast all day and finally the sun's come out. And it's gone really warm again. About 23 degrees on the way up here. So what's happening? I've only got the cooler bag with me at the moment because I've been scouting out somewhere I can put my hammock up, and somewhere different. My usual spot is absolutely inundated with redwood ants, and if you've seen the size of them you'll know they've got quite a bit of a nip on them, and I didn't want to wake up and hammock's absolutely covered with them because obviously they climb up the trees. This seems to be ant free. So this tree here and that tree there, I think I'm going to make do with that tonight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ping this spot on the map, and then I'm going to get the main pack with all the gear. Okay, so I've changed my mind. I am now camping in a different spot. I found an even better spot. So I'm going to get the main pack now. I've hidden my cooler bag behind a tree where I'm going to be hanging my hammock. I do apologise. I am going to be cooking from scratch a lovely curry. Well, I hope it's going to be lovely. Yeah, I know it's hot and it's not the ideal weather for a curry, but I just really felt like a nice curry. I've got all the ingredients, so that's the plan for a bit later on. Yeah, I will confess I have forgotten something. Cooking oil. I was actually going to use a drop of extra virgin olive oil. I've got some of that at home, but I forgot it, didn't I? So before I come back to camp, I'm going to nip to a convenience store and get a bottle of oil. So I'm going to get back, set up, and I am going to have a nice cold Stella. Oh yes. We are proper deep in the woodlands now, and we should be coming up to the marker that I put down, so I know where to turn. Ah, there it is. There you go, that's my marker. So I know I need to turn and go in that direction, sort of up there, and then I'll find my pack with the food and that in, or should I say the cooler pack. Oh dear, ouch. See if I can do this without looking at the location that I pinged. ridiculous. Caught in the tree. It's around here somewhere. Here it is. And my pack's just there. Me cooler pack rather. The chair. The new chair. Or should I say, the third chair. Anyway. From here to here. I'll put my ridge line, and that is where I'm going to hang the hammock. I haven't got the underquilt with me today. I really don't think I need it. I've brought the sleeping bag, the 2-season, but I doubt I'm going to be using that either. These temperatures at the minute, very warm. Like I says, I'm gonna hang 5, have a cold beer, and I'm gonna get on. We're setting up the camp, of course. Okay then. Cheers. Delicious. Refreshing. Now, I wasn't at work last night. I had last night off, booked off as holiday, so I am well and truly rested. This could be a late one. Yes, last night was our younger one's 13th birthday party at Social Club. So we have 2 teenagers at home now, both female. And these are not your, these are your imported Stella. Hence the old can design. %. Now I've got another citronella candle in my bag. I reckon I'm going to like that actually. And I think when I'm cooking the curry, well, I was actually thinking like the garlic and the onions and stuff, it'd deter bugs, but then I remember the Peak District, it did nothing for the midges there, so. But I know the citronella candle worked last weekend. Yeah, I will finish this, as I say, and get set up. Now while I'm sat here, I can see bugs. I can see another potential. I'll show you. From there to there. but I've got to be honest, I think this will be better, and I can use these branches to pull the tarp out rather than having them going into the ground, and for that reason I can have it down low on the one side and then open, so I've got a nice view to look out. That's how I like it, and it's supposed to be raining in the morning, so if I'm awake early enough I should be under the tarp listening to the sound of the rain. Awesome. I was hoping there'd be a stump. I mean, that one's no good, it's rotten. But there's a stump up there, a tree stump. That could be ideal for putting the stove on, because it's very dry in here at the minute. A bit apprehensive about it going up in flames, but what I'll do is I'll either use that over there, or I'll clear a hole in the ground. Make sure there's nothing combustible near. Nothing combustible near. You're in a wood. I got this lovely Session IPA as well. Just the one of them. I like the design on this can. Let's oil the gears of life. .9%. Now this is the Session, the Imperial one that they do, with the guy on the front. It's something like 7.8%, something stupid like that. Yeah, you know when you've had it. So I've got to be honest, I have had a bit of a mare getting the hammock, sort of, you know, the hammock straps. Yeah, that'll do it. Yes, so what's going on here? That meant to be a bit. I haven't. Hold on. Yeah, I think that should do it. Yeah, that never looks right, just a hammock on its own, because obviously it needs opening out. I've got to put the bug sheet cords obviously around the tree to stretch them out. And then drip lines, because I know it's going to rain in the morning. Well, it's predicted to. Yeah, held me up a little bit tonight. As you can see, it's got dark. Running out of light. I will have another little mess around with that just to get it where I want it to be, but that should do it. So the tarp's anchored into the ground on that corner and the corner over there, and then I've used the branches from the trees, so as I said earlier, I'm covered that way from where the foot track is over there, but I've got a nice little lookout over here, so I'm not completely cocooned in, and if it does rain I'm not going to get wet either. Well, that was a monumental fail, wasn't it? Yeah, my leg is soaked. So the rain has actually got the better of the drip lines. Look at this. Oh. Got my towel in there just to try and dry it off a bit. I've never had that before. It just seems to be running down here. It's still dripping off these, but it's still getting in the hammock. I don't know why. Yeah, I've woke up cold and wet. It's just absorbing it like a sponge. It start doing it here, look. Oh, my trousers are soaked. So, you know what's happening today? I'm cooking that curry. Well, it forecast a chance of rain. I didn't expect this. My apologies. Yeah, I'd say I dodged a bullet there. I got out of that in time. Look at it, it's ridiculous. I've never had that happen before. I wonder if it's to do with how upright they are. The water's literally just run down regardless of the drip lines. It's not had a chance to drip off. I don't know. I mean, it's A bit wet there, but nothing like that. Oh, now look at that, that's ridiculous. This rain ain't stopping anytime soon by the look of it. The moment I said that, the sun started coming out. But it's supposed to be on till about 2 o'clock this afternoon. A nice cup of tea. So I've got all the ingredients and overkill with the oil. I'm going to start off by frying some garlic and some onions, and then I'm just going to build on it. It's actually harder than it looks to actually dice onions on your lap on a little tiny chopping board. I mean, not impossible, it's just a bit fiddly. I'm having to do so much at a time, so I've put some oil in the pan. I'm having to gauge what a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of oil is. I mean, it's just a guesstimate as it's known. The rain did stop. It stopped, the sun's come out, and it started up again. I can tell the difference between it raining and just the surplus water dripping off the trees. Now it stopped again. It stopped again. That's just water dripping off the trees now. You're going to get that in the woods, and you're going to have that for quite a while, unless it gets really hot and it dries it up. I'm hoping when I leave here that it's not going to be swamped out, because I'm in my trainers, not my boots. My leg is still wet as well. Yep, still wet. I'm going to carry on with cutting up the onions, or should I say dicing the onions if you want to be pedantic, and get on with the cooking. It's definitely stopped raining there. It sounds like it's still raining, obviously, I've just explained. So last night, I'm going to be upfront and honest, I got the Bluetooth speaker on, sat in the chair, really chilled, and I've got to be honest, I didn't feel much like doing lots of filming, because you follow the channel, you'll understand, as I've said many times before, I love the outdoors, and it's not me doing it purely for YouTube at all. I absolutely just love getting out there, and I was getting out there before the channel, just, you know, enjoying the outdoors, enjoying nature, finding random places to camp, and then I started up the channel, and I didn't expect it to, you know, go the way it has gone, and I've got a lot of support of people, and you know, I don't have thousands and thousands of followers, but the followers that I do have, the hardcore followers, and they give me lots of support, so I thank you for that. Now, I've come across a video recently, and it ties in with something that I've actually been thinking about for quite a while, and what I've been thinking of as of lately, as I mentioned before, about doing sort of sideline videos on like tips and how-tos, and I did say it was the Idiot's Guide to, if you remember, I think it was a couple of videos ago. But anyway, I've got to the point in my mind where I'm seeing all these videos of the outdoors, and very few obviously stand out, because it's all the same narrative: going somewhere, setting up camp, and it's obviously camping, but it's going to be the same. And I personally think now that it's past its peak. It's sort of slowing down now. A lot of people are obviously they've seen it. Once you've seen one camping video, you've seen pretty much all of them, because obviously it's the same thing. I'm personally getting to that point where the stealth camping, it's funny, but come on bugs, it's funny, but again, there's only so many times you can do a stealth camping video where it becomes unoriginal, you know, because everybody's doing it. It becomes a niche. So for that reason, I've really been thinking about what else I could bring to the channel, and that's where I came up with the, you know, my take on things like the guide to sleeping bags. I don't know, it could be anything, obviously, as I go along. Now, a lot of people do the gear reviews. I'm not just going to buy gear purely for the sake of doing a review, and I don't like doing reviews anyway. There's too many people doing reviews, and there's too much fakery out there, people saying good stuff about stuff that isn't very good just to get free gear. And yeah, and one thing that I hate the most about gear reviews is that you find that people, and I've said this before, take something out for the very first time, ain't got a clue how to set it up, use it, whatever it is, and then they set it up wrong or use it wrong or got no idea what they're doing. I think that's an unfair review. I mean, it could be a first look at it, but you can't gauge a review on something you've got no clue how to set up or install or whatever. So if you was to do a review, how about after, I don't know, using it for 10 times, you know, if it's a tent, for example. Now, yeah, we know how to set a tent up, but each time you set something up, you get better at it. And that is why it wasn't a review, it was sort of my thoughts on the Hyena 2 after I'd used it 40 times. And you got some people saying good stuff about it, you got some people saying bad stuff about it, and I wanted to give my honest thoughts on it. Not so much as a review, but what I liked about it, you know, what you're getting for your money. And I got a lot of positive feedback from that. Now that is the onions done, and you don't realise how long it takes to do a simple task on a tiny chopping board. Now, another thing I've learned, as such, it isn't as well the activities. A lot of times it is the person's personality. You could go out and go to some fantastic locations and do an awesome camp, but if you've got the personality of a wet rag, it's not going to hold well for you, is it? Okay, so what? Plenty of onion. Oh, it's getting to my eyes now. Plenty of onion. Yeah, there's about 1.5 onions in there. It's not the biggest pot. Now I'm going to do about 3 garlic cloves. Yeah, it's a bit powerful, yeah, I know. I think it's gone dull again. We're in for some rain again. seems to be on and off. Oh, right in front of me. And going back to what I was saying about last night, I've not in any way lost interest in doing the videos as such. It was just last night, it was pretty much a repeat of the week before, setting up and whatnot. So I thought I'm gonna possibly do something different. I'm just gonna chill out, and then today I'm gonna do the curry. So you've got a cooking aspect. It's a bit different. I've done cooking before, but obviously you've got cooking and then you've got throwing something in a pan and heating it up. Now I'd say this is cooking. So something different, a slightly different element. Sorry if I've disappointed you in this week's video. I will take I've confused myself now. That's not hard to do, is it? I'm going to crack on with this and carry on listening to the music, but I'm now on to doing, or should I say, I'm going to be really finely dicing this garlic. So with the heat, if it's fine enough, this knife's sharp enough, it will pretty much melt into the oil, so there won't be chunks of garlic. Yep, I think that should do it. Now all the choppings, the skins off the onions and whatever, I'll put them down there for now. I'll tidy it up after that. I mean, that's a tiny little clove, ain't it, compared to that? Anyway, back to the music. And it's off again. Big style. Okay, so where are we at with the onions and garlic? I've diced the chicken. Now I'm actually cooking chicken drum fillets. I did want chicken thigh fillets because I much prefer legs to breast. Yeah, I can hear a matron coming. Oh, hello. What's left I'm going to put back in the cooler bag, take them home. Don't like wasting food, but there's plenty there for, it's more than enough there. It's only a small pot. One time I could have done with my little table and I left it behind. Yeah, this tarp keeps collecting water. I could ideally do with pulling it down. It's pooling up here and then suddenly splashing down. Now, oh dear, it's gone out. I've set my little cat's-in stove up just so I can get the kettle back on again because I'm using the main stove. Got the chicken in. And fry that off for a bit. Oh dear. scraping off the bottom, otherwise it will set fire. Now I've put in the spices. I have forgotten one thing. However, paprika, chili powder, mild chili powder, turmeric and cumin. Yeah, I forgot to get some fresh ginger from Lidl when I was in there yesterday. Now annoyingly I picked it up, but I didn't think they had any garlic, so I put it back down again, because if they hadn't got the garlic I was gonna think of something else that I could cook, and then I didn't go back and pick up the ginger root. Yeah, that's annoyed me a little bit. What have I got left to do now? So I've got to chop some of these chilies. Now that is why I've only used mild chili, because I'm going to put a couple of fresh chilies in. I'm going to add some chopped tomatoes, and then I'm going to add the coriander. And if it's a bit watery after the tomatoes, I have actually got some cornstarch to thicken it up a little bit. But I'm hoping I don't need the cornstarch. That's starting to smell magnifique. And this weather doesn't know what it wants to do. I still ain't boiled this kettle yet. I didn't realise the flame had gone out. It's getting there. So I'm just going to leave that to simmer for a bit. I've got the simmer ring on. I'll show you. Yeah, it did scorch the ground a bit with the windshield round it. It's not windy, don't need the windshield. No, I'll make sure it's not burning when I leave. I'll douse it all down. I think that's plenty of chilli. I'm not really into really hot food anymore like I used to be. I used to be an idiot for it. Anyway, let's have a look what it's looking like. And now for the coriander. Fresh coriander. Plenty in there, I love it. Oh, it's more than enough now. That's got a chicken paffia feel to it. Oh yes. I was only going to use half the tin of tomatoes, but it's took them well, so I've put them all in, and it doesn't need thickening up. That's come out really well, considering I did it on my lap in a woodland. And there you have it. Dinner is served. Looks yummy. Let's hope it tastes yummy. We'll find out, won't we? Let's have some of my brew first. Slurp. is yummy. It actually does just taste like chicken paffia. Them tomatoes and all that coriander. It's got a nice little kick to it, nothing too powerful. I'm a wimp these days. That reminds me, I haven't taken my heartburn tablet. Anyway, that, there's plenty more in the pot as well. I reckon I'm going to do the lot. And I have no shame. Well, at least the rain's finally stopped. Now, the reason it was pooling up on here, the water, is because I didn't realise that the ground had gone soft and that stake had come out the ground partially, and the tension had gone on here, and this was literally pooling up, and then when there was enough it would just splosh straight on top of my candle. But to be fair, I didn't really need the candle. There ain't been that many bitey things around. And now I was about to say, what a gorgeous woodland this is. And then an aeroplane decides to go above. It is amazing how different this woodland is in the summer in contrast to the winter. Now, it's probably very little chance in the winter I'd be able to pitch here and not be seen, because the path isn't too far away, or should I say the track, in sort of this direction along here, but you've got all the cover from the trees and the foliage. Now if you really wanted to not be seen and you wanted to do a really stealthy woodland camp, just clearing that up a little bit, you get a tent in there, get your seats in there. Nobody's going to see you in there, are they? Not with these ferns. But what I love about being in here is exactly, you hear nothing apart from wildlife. I do think I dropped on with that spot there. It is a nice little spot, and as I said last night, that tree there and that tree there, you could have somebody else get a hammock there, and that's probably a little bit too far apart. I mean, possibly. you've also got that there. The only trouble is you've got this in the way. If you didn't want to damage the trees, you could get some paracord and pull that branch back, and then you'd get a hammock in there. I always like to, let's have a look over here a second. That's potential for another hammock there. And again, there to there. Just hope your neighbour doesn't snore like I do. Just capturing the beauty of here. It's just beautiful. Okay, can you see me? So I've just had a bit of a play around with the camo. Now, the fact that the path is that way, I think that works really well. I keep saying path. What I meant is track, beaten track. Now, on my way into here yesterday, where the track, coming along the track, it was actually full of ferns, as you've seen. I don't actually think anybody's come down this way for a while, because these ferns, not very strong. You only have to sort of brush them a bit too far and they snap and then they die. So there's very little chance someone's going to come down this bit here. And with the rain we had, but I just wanted to have a little mess around and see what the tarp would look like with obviously the camo on it. Now I've had to use the two because I'll show you. The one isn't quite wide enough. You can still see the bottom of the tarp. So I've put the other one up and I've just interwove some twigs just to hold it up. But yeah, I think that works really well. I know for next time that both of those can make a really good hide. Where I did the cooking, the ground did catch fire and it was actually smouldering away under the little stove. So I've doused that with plenty of water before I cover it back over. That's absolutely soaked, so that's going to have to be hung up to dry. And the weight of it now, it's wet. Wow. That would have been a disaster if I needed that for a multi-day trip and I got it wet like that. I'd have to leave it to hang to dry somehow. If it was raining, yeah, that'd be a struggle. I'd have to put up another line underneath, under here, and then hang it in here to dry somehow. The towel's absolutely soaked, so I'm just put that in one of the bags so it doesn't wet everything in my kit. All I've got to do now is pack the chair away, break the tarp down, put everything away, and that's me done and dusted. I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, it's the evening time now. It's about 5:30. Yeah, I've had a really chilled out day. And that brings us to the end of another camp. I do really need to get out of here now before my face ends up on a missing person poster. I've had an absolute blast as usual. Shame about the hammock, waking up to a wet leg. That's the first. Again, it must have been to do with how steep the straps were, tree straps. Now the other side, where there was an extra loop in the daisy chain where that was hanging down, I didn't get wet that side. Yes, there was a bit of dampness on the hammock, so maybe next time always leave one extra loop as well as the drip lines. If these trees had been slightly wider apart, it wouldn't have had to be so steep, but that was the best I could get it. Now it's crazy because I was watching, what's his name, Scott, at Camping Hiking Photography, and he was using Helios straps which are adjustable, and I says to him in the comments, I've never struggled with the hammock straps before, so and guess what, it's just always the way, isn't it? But anyway, I'm clearly ready to go. Just checking I haven't left anything behind. I'm not going to say it this week, I'm definitely not going to say it. What I am going to say is don't leave a mess. If you brought it with you, take it with you. You know the score by now. Yep, that's me, good to roll. Now it looks really heavy to pack, but it isn't. it's just got the bulk in there. This isn't heavy either, it's really light, obviously because I've eaten all the goods. I did have bacon, well I still have bacon and eggs. I've got eggs in here and I've got a pack of thick cut bacon, but I'll eat that at home at some point. Okay, so I'm going. Nice, awesome little spot. See if I can get out of there without getting tangled up in branches like I did before. Oh, I can't get through that way. I'll try this way. Oh dear, spiderweb. I have actually saved the location on my maps because I probably will return there. My usual spot, which is, I'm not going to tell you actually, that's the secret, but it's full of redwood ants and there's a massive ant mound very near where I would camp. So during the summer months, that spot's pretty much a no-no, unless you like being bitten, of course. Yeah, I'm actually pleased it really rained as hard as it did, and for as long as it did, to really douse this woodland down, because it was actually getting dangerously dry. It only takes for somebody to flick a cigarette and that's the woods gone up. I'd hate for something like that to happen here. That'd be devastating. So I'm going to bring this video to an end. It's been great having you along. Thanks for watching. Please, as always, if you could give me a big thumbs up, please subscribe, and you can always buy the idiot a coffee, not compulsory. Keep it real, because I certainly have been. I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.